Hi there, and welcome to Clueless Cooking 101. I'm Tammy, and this is Ed. Here at Clueless Cooking 101, recipes are optional, measurements are questionable, and the smoke alarm is basically our sous chef. If you're here for the laughs and to learn a little bit about cooking and to watch me try to not burn down the kitchen, you're in the right place. Okay, Clueless Cooks, let's have some laughs and have some fun in the kitchen. Welcome back to Clueless Cooking 101, where you're the beginner and the clueless cook. I'm a little clueless too. Everything always tastes good, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing, so let's wing it together and let's get going. My boyfriend had some avocados that were getting a little bit old, so I said, you know what, let's make some guacamole. And he thought they were going to be brown, and I said, you know, just because the outside of the avocado is a different color, it doesn't mean that it's brown on the inside. So we're going to find this out together. Anyway, start out with the ingredients for guacamole. Since we've got some avocados that need to be used. So the ingredients are fresh avocados. We're going to use 4 of those this time. Fresh cilantro, but I also, at Walmart, I got this cilantro paste. You can use either one, but I like to use the fresh thing if possible. Some people don't like cilantro. I've heard people say that they think it tastes like soap. I don't have that opinion, but if you don't like cilantro, I'm not sure what else you can use in place of it. I think the recipe said that you can use parsley. I'm not sure what else. But anyway, if you want the real deal, use a little bit of fresh cilantro. You're supposed to use minced onions. I've gotten addicted to these. These are organic green onions from Walmart, and I just use the tops. But you can finely chop a regular onion. I don't know that if it really matters. A lot of times in Mexican dishes, they'll use red onion because there's a little more heat. But we need about a half a cup of onions, and I'm going to use organic green onions from Walmart. Okay, this is a jalapeno. I'm going to cut it in half, and we're going to take the stuff out of it, take the seeds out of it. There's not as much heat. If you want more heat in the jalapeno, and this is fresh, you can also buy them in a jar. They're not quite as hot. I'm not sure if you have to increase the amount of jalapenos that you add, but we're going to just chop up this, and we're going to take the seeds out so there's not quite so much heat. I use limes, and we're going to use 1 lime, the juice of 1 lime in this guacamole, but I like a lot of zing, so we might end up using 2. So I'm going to say 2 limes, 2 whole limes right now. 1 Roma tomato is optional, and you cut it into small pieces and seed it, and it's a lot of work and all that stuff, and I'm not 100% sure it adds that much to it. As you know, I like to sneak in a little bit of sriracha, so we're going to put a little sriracha in this just to brighten it up. I have this teeny tiny lazy Gene. I buy this organic minced garlic at Walmart. I'm going to use that, and then some salt and pepper. So anyway, you know what the ingredients are. It's really basic. This should take 5 or 10 minutes to put all of this together. Again, getting the avocados cleaned is probably the most time-consuming thing. But somebody showed me how to scoop out an avocado with a spoon. It went really fast. I'll show you how to do it in just a minute. So let's get going, okay? Hey, Clueless Cooks, another interruption. If you will check out my website, which is cluelesscooking101.com, I'd really appreciate it. We have a blog with some recipes, and we also are going to have merchandise coming up soon so that you can have a cool apron like mine. But in the meantime, just check out our website, and I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you there.
Perfect.
All right, first of all, with this avocados, I did a little bit of research on the internet, and there are probably, 15 different varieties of avocado. I don't know that it really matters. So this is just something that Bill had. You can actually peel this off, which I'm going to show you how to do the spoon thing, because it works pretty darn good. Oh, look at that. But maybe not on this one, because it's just coming off really easy. If we have one that's hard to get off, we'll do the spoon thing and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, here's this avocado seed. Super annoying. And I do the unthinkable. I stab it and get it out with a knife that way. And we're going to do 4 of these. So I'm going to do that real fast, get these 4 done, cut them up, and then we'll add the other ingredients.
We'll do.
And I like to just, when I cut them down the centers, oh, see, that one's not brown. I like to twist them, and what's going to happen is the seed's going to come off on one side and not on the other side. So I usually start with the side that doesn't have the seed because it's the path of least resistance. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with your guacamole other than just have it with chips. And we're going to show it with chips, but I don't know if you've noticed lately. Oops, I'm going to cut that before we mash it up. I've seen like avocado toast. I've used guacamole and made some salad dressing that was really good. So get creative when you make this, because it can be your final stop or it can be a basic ingredient for something else. And I don't know if it's technically green goddess dressing, but I have used guacamole and used it as an ingredient in salad dressing, and it was green and it was a little thicker, but it was really, really good. And I don't know if that's what green goddess is, but that's just an FYI. Oops. I'm dropping this in the bowl, and that's foreboding. There's the 3 and 4. Oh, there's going to be a brown one and a green one. Here we go. Okay. Avocado on my hands as we speak. See, I cut that sort of like right down the middle. Be really careful. I have very basic knife skills that I am told are probably not in my best interest, but I do it anyway. All right, so, here's this avocado. This thing's just gonna come right off. I didn't have to do the spoon. Okay, something that I told you that we're gonna do, ooh, look how green my towel got, is that we're going to cut the avocado into smaller pieces so that it's easier to mash. Super easy to cut, because it's pretty soft. And I'm just gonna pop it in this big bowl. I'm gonna get a larger mixing bowl. We're just gonna mash it up with a fork. And since we have so much avocado here, I have made an executive decision, and we're gonna cut off the brown part of this one avocado, because we're in good shape. So if you use 4 avocados that are medium size, 5 that are small, 3 that are large, you're going to be fine. Hey, Clueless Cook, sorry to interrupt this episode. I know you're probably looking at your social media feeds, so since you're already doing that, check us out. Check out Clueless Cooking 101 on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, Substack, and I even have a blog. We have videos and written posts. So check us out on all those social media sites, and we'd love to hear your comments. All right now I'm mashing this. It's pretty soft avocado. I'm mashing it with a fork. So you can use a fork. You can use an immersion blender. Probably not as, probably more efficient, but not as authentic. And you can't bond with your avocado and see what's actually in there if you use an immersion blender. Now, I've got some fresh cilantro. You need a 1/2 cup. And again, this is something that you can substitute with parsley if you don't care for cilantro. I'm going to rinse this. And I just take the cilantro and I just chop it right off the top. And I include stems. Some people they'll like hand pick the little leaves off and leave the stems and all of that because they're maybe a little more gourmet than me. We're going to just chop this a little bit and then hope to heck that we have a half a cup. I think we will, but we're going to measure it. Here's a half cup because I got that half thing on the bottom. Oh, look at that. Dang. And I think that we have a half cup here-ish of chopped fresh cilantro. Just going to pop it right in there. Now we're going to do green onions. And again, you can use like regular onions that you chop. I just like using green onions. I've gotten kind of addicted to them lately. I don't know why. I really like it. Still done the thing. We're going to get the tops and maybe a little bit of the onion part of the green onion too. Right, let's see how we've done quantity-wise. We want about a half a cup. Okay. This is almost a half a cup that we've cut. I actually used 4 green onions. I used about, we're going to use about, I'm going to say 70 or 80% of these green onions as we slice them into little pieces. And they should probably be finer than this, but since they're milder than regular onions, and I'm not that good with a knife. Okay, there's our half cup of green onions. Put that right in there, or can, like, as I said, it can be other onions. Okay, so now here's the tricky part. Oops. Is this jalapeno. So we're going to cut it in half, and this is what a halved jalapeno looks like. Now I'm told that if you take out the meat, the membrane, and the seeds, that there's less heat. And we're going to go for less heat because we don't really want to injure anybody. We don't want to surprise them with super hot guacamole. So here's this jalapeno. We've cleaned out the membrane and the seeds. And we're going to cut off the stems and the top. Don't have to, but why not? And we're going to cut this one jalapeno into really thin slices. And then we're going to chop it. So I think this is technically called finely chopped. And we're going to have like this size pieces, but I'm even going to chop it finer than that. Okay, that's one jalapeno cut up. But I'm going to like give it another little choppy thing. And I did say I have this pretty large knife. I don't know. I think it's called a chef's knife. But I do hold the front tip down, and it's a little easier to chop. Okay, there goes the jalapeno. One jalapeno. So we have a couple more ingredients, and then we're just going to mix it together, and theoretically, it's going to taste great, and our cilantro will be all done, or our guacamole will be all done. I'm rather than using a clove of garlic, which the recipe calls for, I'm going to just use 1 tablespoon of minced organic garlic. And I get that in the produce section at Walmart, but it comes in a jar. It's already cut up. Because you see, my knife skills are not that great, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then, of course, it's not in the recipe, but I love to use sriracha, so we're going to use 1 teaspoon. Oh, come on. Come up, please. 1 teaspoon of sriracha. And I've said this before, sriracha can be hot if you use a lot of it, but I find that it just brightens up food, so I use it. Okay. We're going to use a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and then squeeze a lime and mix it together, see what happens. Might have to use that second lime. This is organic pepper. This is already ground. It's organic pepper from Walmart. And of course, my teaspoon doesn't fit in there. So I'm going to get a half a teaspoon and use 2 of them. Oh, what did I do? Oh, there it is. The half fits. So I'm going to use 2, 1/2. So technically 1 teaspoon of ground pepper. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. And we might want to do more, not 100% sure, but we're going to sprinkle it on there. And that's what it looks like before we mix it all up. And that should be it. Oh, lime juice. Forgot about that. So, I have a hard time squeezing citrus. So I have like a little technique. I cut the fruit, the citrus, into quarters. It smells awesome. I don't know why, but limes don't have a bunch of seeds in them. So I'm just gonna squeeze this lime juice in here. So here we go. I'm gonna mix all of this stuff together. Oh, it smells awesome. Okay, here we go. Gonna do an initial taste test, see how we did. I don't hate this. It's pretty good. And I'll tell you what, the jalapenos, there's a little heat, so be prepared. But I'm going to add the second lime. It will brighten this up a little bit, and if I'm not mistaken, it might help balance out the heat from that jalapeno. As I said, cut it into quarters. It's just a little easier for me to squeeze. If you have a juicer, you can do that. Probably a little bit more efficient, but I just squeeze mine by hand. Mix this together. Okay, and we're going to give one more taste test. I'm giving this a yes. It's really good. Okay, super fresh, no cooking, a little bit of chopping, a little bit of prep time. Okay, and now for the surprise. I did buy 2 different kinds of chips if you want to use a dip for your guacamole. You use your guacamole as a dip, which most people do. But the thing that I've been surprised myself is I had some corn tortillas and I made my own chips. And they're a little bit thicker than the store-bought kind. You can control the amount of salt on them. I baked mine. You can fry them, bake them, use an air fryer if you have one or you know how to use it or have access to one. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did, and then I'm going to give you a quick lesson in how to do it if you want, rather than buy your chips out of the bag. I got these at Walmart. These are blue corn. They're organic. And then these are a party favorite on the border. Yellow corn tortillas, cafe style. But we're going to do the ones that I made out of actual tortilla chips. I'm going to scoop it in here. Yes, these are a little thicker. And if you really want to impress people, make your own chips. First thing that you need to do, I'm going to bake my chips. So let's set the oven at 350. You take a cookie sheet, and it's recommended that you either use parchment or aluminum foil. And I just used parchment. That's the tail end of mine. Okay, here are the tortilla chips. They're the tortillas, sorry. And you can see where I already experimented. These are normally round. These are street taco tortillas. They're a little smaller. We're going to use some blue chips and some yellow corn chips. And they're round, so all you do is you just cut them into quarters. Like that, so they're shaped like the ones that you get it in the store. And you're going to lay them out on the cookie sheet. Once I'm done, I'll show you the whole sheet. But it looks like it might take forever, but it's because of the quantity that you get on the sheet. It goes a little faster than you think. Okay, so I'm going to do half yellow corn, like that, and then you do half blue corn. These are the organic ones. And I'm going to say we're going to use about a tablespoon of olive oil max, but I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on these tortilla chips. And then you'll see why in a sec. It's not terribly even, but I have this little pastry brush. You can get these, for $1.50 or whatever at the Dollar Tree. And just the oil that's on there, spread it out a little bit. Now, here comes the magic. This is pink Himalayan salt. And you can use sea salt, you can use Himalayan salt, you can use the stuff in the blue box, if that's what you have. But when you sprinkle a little bit of salt on here, I only do it on one side. Most of the things that come in a bag that are ready made are probably a little too salty. And they probably use the cheapest salt that they can find. I should buy them at a health food store or something. Okay. So we're going to pop these. These are our cut up corn tortillas. We're going to pop them in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. Let them bake. I've already done a batch before this. And it's 112. So we're going to, at 120, we're going to check these. I like to turn my light on because I like to look at my work. And I can see in there. And that's the simplicity of making your own tortilla chips. Of course, it's easier to just buy a bag of them at the grocery. And then when you serve these, you can put them, you can eat right out of the bag, you can put them in a bowl. I'm going to put the guacamole like in a serving bowl because I just want it to look good. It'll take me a second to find the serving bowl. So that's the guacamole in a serving dish. And I'm going to take a couple of pieces of cilantro. Now, if you're going to someone's home or you're supposed to be bringing a dish, take this. It's very impressive. tastes, it's super fresh. And then one of the things that I do is I just take like a little piece of cilantro, including the stem, and I put it on top. You don't have to, but it makes it look good. And there we go. And so that's your guacamole, ready to serve, or put it in an airtight container and take it with. And here are, our 10 minutes is up, and here are our chips that we made. Anyway, that's your guacamole and chips, Clueless Cooks. Don't be afraid to try this at home. And I will remind you that I did read that when you store this, it's good to put it in an airtight container. Obviously needs refrigerated. But if you lie some plastic right on top of the guacamole, it will not discolor. And it should probably last, several days. And if you take this, if you're going to someone's house or you need to take a dish or whatever, you can, of course, take a bag of chips. But don't take the guacamole and not the chips, and don't take the chips and not the guacamole, because that's kind of lame. But anyway, you will be very impressive if you do this, especially if you tell everybody that it's all homemade and that you did it yourself. And you can also use this same guacamole for avocado toast. I know that maybe there might be some sprouts or sprouted grains or something else on there, but it's delicious that way as well. Quite good for you, and it's a great way for you to get the kind of fat that's very good for you, as well as green stuff. So that's my health tip for now, but this is fresh guacamole. Thank you, Mary Jo, for the recipe. I just cheated a little tiny bit and added a couple of other things. Hope you enjoy this. Clueless Cooks, we'll see you again on the next episode of Clueless Cooking 101. In the meantime, enjoy your snack, your guacamole and chips. Thanks for watching and for supporting this Clueless adventure. Looks like we all survived another round of Clueless Cooking 101. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because it only gets messier from here.